Have you struggled to set the price for your video production services? If you've been scratching your head, you're in the right place. Today, let's break down everything you need to consider to price your work right and maximize your profits. Cost breakdown. The first part of pricing a project is knowing how much it'll cost to produce it. There are two types of costs you need to consider: fixed and variable. Fixed costs. Starting with fixed costs, these are your constant expenses. Office rent and utilities, this includes your studio or office space and the utilities like electricity and internet. Salaries and wages for your staff, make sure to account for everyone working on your project. Insurance and other regular expenses. Business insurance is also needed. It will cover your equipment and liability. Lastly, any other reoccurring costs. Variable costs. Next are your variable costs, which include freelancers and subcontractors. Sometimes you'll need additional help for bigger projects, equipment maintenance and upgrades. Your gear needs to stay in top shape, so budget for regular upkeep and replacements. Travel and accommodation for shoots. Out-of-town projects can add up. Include all travel-related expenses. Break-even analysis. A break-even analyst helps you understand the minimum revenue needed to cover costs. Calculate your total fixed and variable costs, then determine the minimum revenue required to break even. Set your pricing to ensure profitability beyond this point. For example, if your monthly fixed costs are $5,000 and your variable costs for a project are $2,000, you need to make at least $7,000 to cover your cost. Pricing structure: day rate. Charging a flat rate per day of work is ideal for projects with a clear timeline and scope. For example, if you charge $1,000 per day, a 3-day shoot will be $3,000. A day rate is very common when getting hired for freelance work. When quoting a price, find out if your job will include equipment or if you'll have to bring your own. Value your equipment and charge a higher rate if you have to bring your own. Hourly rate. An hourly rate works well for smaller, flexible projects or consultations. Make sure to include a value for any equipment you will be using for the project. For instance, at $100 per hour, a 5-hour project costs $500. But if you are bringing all of the equipment, your rate should be higher. Project rate. A fixed price for the entire project suits well-defined projects with a set scope and deliverables. This is likely content you have made before and are well prepared for every aspect of its production. For example, a project rate might be $10,000 for a completed corporate video. Packages. Offering bundled services at a discounted rate can attract different clients. Create tiers like Basic, Standard, and Premium to cater to various needs and budgets. For example, the Basic package could include just shooting and editing for $4,000. A Standard package might include shooting, editing, and basic graphics for $5,000. Lastly, the Premium package could include shooting, editing, motion graphics, plus color correction and grading for $6,000. The idea is to bundle your production into packages that entice your client to spend more or expand the scope of the project. Market research. Analyzing competitors. Study your competitors' rates for similar services. Evaluate the value they offer compared to their pricing. Identify gaps in the market where you can position your services competitively. This is a great opportunity to gather a list of competitors. This list could find you extra help, or if you need to refer a client to a competitor that does something you don't. Positioning. Define your unique selling proposition or USP. Determine your target audience and their willingness to pay. Position your brand as a premium, mid-range, or budget service provider. Value proposition. Highlight what sets you apart from your competitors. Focus on quality, reliability, and uniqueness of your services. Ensure your value proposition aligns with your pricing strategy. Travel expenses. Include travel costs for shoots outside of your local area. Consider per diem rates for meals and lodging. If a shoot requires a flight and overnight stay, factor in airfare, hotel, meals, and transportation. Talent costs. Factor in fees for actors, voiceover artists, and other talent. Ensure contracts cover usage rights and duration. For instance, say your voiceover artist costs $500 per session. It could be more if you include long-term usage fees. Make sure what you are paying for will cover your needs and nothing else. Don't pay for rights you don't need. Equipment rental. Include the cost of renting specialized equipment. Plan for backup equipment in case of failures. If a project requires a specialized camera that you don't own, include these rental costs in your budget. Music and stock media. Budget for licenses for music tracks and stock footage. Ensure compliance with copyright laws. For example, purchasing a music track license for a corporate video might cost $200. Pay attention to what global regions it covers. You might not need worldwide rights, so paying for them isn't necessary. Location fees. Account for fees to secure shooting locations, include permits and any additional location-specific costs. If you need to film in a city park, there might be permit fees and regulations to comply with. Rush charges. Add a premium for expedited projects. Clearly define what qualifies as a rush project. For instance, if a client needs a project completed within 48 hours, you might add a 20% surcharge. Revisions. Set limits on the number of revisions included in the price. Be clear about this up front. Hold to that and charge for additional revisions beyond the agreed upon scope. If you include 2 rounds of revisions in your price, any extra charges should be billed separately. Production calculators. Utilize online tools to estimate projects' costs. Adjust pricing based on a complexity and client requirements. These calculators help you assist a project's feasibility, ensuring your pricing covers all expenses. Communication. Discussing pricing. Approach pricing conversations with confidence and clarity. Explain the value and benefits of your services. Use detailed proposals to outline what's included in your pricing and why it's worth the investment. Managing expectations. Be upfront about costs and what they cover. Set clear expectations for deliverables and timelines. Make sure clients understand what they're paying for and what they can expect at each stage of the project. Upfront deposit. Require a deposit to secure the project. Ensure it covers initial expenses and demonstrates client commitment. Not covering your costs for the project is a liability you shouldn't take on. Contracts and payment. Use contracts to outline project scope, costs, and payment. Consider phase payment for larger projects to manage cash flow. For example, you might require 50% upfront and then 25% at a midpoint milestone, and finally the remaining 25% upon project completion. This can be a negotiation, so be ready to justify your needs. Retainer. Offer retainer agreements for ongoing work. Provide clients with constant services and revenue for your business. Retainers can ensure a steady stream of work and help you plan your workload more effectively. The retainer can cover a promised amount of work at a constant basis. It can also guarantee that you will take their project as they arise. This is a negotiation that should benefit both parties, so you can establish a strong relationship. Upselling. Creating more content with the same amount of source. Repurpose footage for additional content pieces. Offer clients extended edits or behind-the-scene videos. These can be leveraged for other marketing materials. The donut. If what you are making could use regular updates, consider offering a donut. The donut is a portion of a video that is designed to be easily replaced. For example, say your client wants one commercial made and they have seasonal sales but lack the budget to make 4 a year. Design a segment of the commercial that can be updated quarterly. The production cost to update one area or donut will be less than the whole new commercial. This might be something they have the budget for, and you just captured more because of the donut. Multiple destinations. Create content in various lengths to meet different placement needs. For instance, when producing a commercial, design versions of different durations. That 30-second ad can be shortened to a 5, 10, or 15-second or extended to 60 seconds. This approach caters to diverse platforms and marketing strategies. Additionally, offering extended or highlight edits can be highly desirable. Add-on services. Consider adding additional services like voiceover. Finding a good voiceover actor is easier than finding on-camera talent. In fact, many people are great at it and have no experience. But be ready to direct what you want to get out of them, and be patient to give it as many takes as they need. Custom graphics. Pre-made graphics don't always work. Creating custom graphics can dramatically enhance your video's production value. For example, animating the brand logo can bring life to an otherwise stationary image. Photography. The cameras used most for video production can now also capture still images. Adding photography to a project can help you capture more of the budget. Time-lapse. Time-lapse can be utilized in numerous ways. While some scenarios can be challenging, with practice, you can create a high-end asset. Aerial footage. Capturing an aerial shot used to require a helicopter. Now drone pilots get those shots done with ease. The simplicity of obtaining aerial shots has made them highly desirable. If you're a licensed pilot, you should offer aerial footage for every project you work on. Live streaming. When shooting an event like a wedding, live streaming services allow guests to be there even if they can't attend. This can be highly valuable to some clients. Offering live streaming services as an option, even if it doesn't seem necessary, is an excellent way to increase the final budget. Video quality. Upsell HD clients to 4K for superior quality. Highlight the benefits of higher resolution for their projects, like future-proofing their investment. Show examples of how 4K footage looks compared to HD to illustrate the difference.